Hello, everybody. All right. Anyways, we're gonna wait a few minutes to give people a chance to get in. I hope everybody's having a good week as we've reached the middle of the week, of course. Um, I'm gonna go off camera here for a quick moment, take care of a couple of things, and when I get back, we'll go over what's on tap for tonight. So, with that being said, I'll just put some music on here. Be right back. All right, we're back. Hello, everybody. All right, so let me just do one last thing here, real quick, before we. Um, Alrighty then. So there we go. All that being said, all right. So here's what's on tap for tonight. As we're coming up on 3 minutes here. Of course, we're pretty much caught up with our story. So now we'll be like we're pretty much caught up. So tonight, what we're gonna do is, of course, we're gonna do the indie comic showcase. We're gonna look over that article from Chris Bray on Bleeding Fool. Plus, of course, we'll have the wrestling wrap up, and then this day in each history. Um, with that, I hope everybody's having a good week thus far. Um, so now we're at 3.5 minutes here. Let's see now. What else? All right. So why don't we go ahead and get started then? Get right into this. Said we will go over the indie comic showcase here. Alrighty then. Now, as always, if you guys haven't already, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people on here, it'd be appreciated. Also, if anything grabs your attention here from what we go over, feel free to comment and or ask questions, um, and I'll do the best I can to answer the questions as they come. So with that, why don't we go ahead and get started here then? Indie Comic Showcase number 228, Titan Mouse of Might, Vicious Vixens of Dakuwanga, and Never Ending Adventure. Article by Chris Bray, published earlier today. Right, so here we go. Welcome to another installment of Indie Comic Showcase, the weekly blog where we signal boost a few truly independent comics that are currently crowdfunding their projects, crowdsourcing their funding, in some way, or just completely self-publishing on their own. Every little bit of support for these creators matters, from a single dollar pledge to the $25 bundle. And of course, the higher tiers are usually fun too. Even if you can't back a campaign or buy a book, you can share or tweet about the project to your friends and followers. Or you can do like I do and just read over the article on your niche newscast and just help that's another way of helping to get the word out. Letting everybody know. All right. As we continue on here. On Indie Comic Showcase, we interview the creators, show off some art, and tell you how you can check out the product for yourself. Below, we have some outstanding crowdfunding campaigns this week for you to learn about, enjoy, and hopefully support by backing one or more of them. Thanks for checking these out and for being the best part of Indie Comic Showcase. Let's jump in. First one is A Never Ending Adventure by Oscar Osorio. I wonder if that has any connection to Never Ending Story. Probably not, because one, he hyphenates the word, first off. But I guess we'll just wait and see. Chris Braley. Welcome to Indie Comic Showcase, Oscar. Tell me the pitch for your latest comic project. Oscar Osorio. It's the fantastic quest of an aspiring creator looking for an idea. A book about career change, mental health, creating comics, an epic quest with a Latino protagonist. The book is 32 pages in length and fully colored. Well, let's just hope that this guy doesn't overdo it on the whole representation bit. Let's see. But if Chris is interviewing him and letting him give him a chance, I guess chances are he's probably not. Probably a like mindset. Chris, sounds cool. Where did the idea for this story originate? Oscar. I've been passionate about comics for 10 years, and recently I decided to dedicate full time to my passion and write comic books, as I burned out and dealt with anxiety in my previous job. But working on what you love brings different issues, such as fear of disappointment, feeling you are not enough, and worrying about breaking into the industry. I combined those emotions with my love for fun comics, with adventures and action, and created this book. I chose self publishing to gather the experience of the whole process of making a comic book firsthand. Wow, that's quite a thing. Oh, look at that! That's a those what are those supposed to be? Rock people? Blue rock people, I guess, or blue tree. I guess it's not rock. Maybe that's squids. I don't know, or octopi. Hmm. What audience is this aimed at? Chris asked. Oscar, there's no explicit stuff, but because of the themes, the book best suits young adults and adults. It's for people making big life decisions and will serve as inspiring or cautionary tale. It's a book about dealing with your problems for creatives feeling stuck in life. It's a book for people that love fun, epic comics. It's a book for Latinos to share their feelings and stories and learn that their voice matters. Hmm. Okay. Well, again, hopefully, I hope this guy doesn't overdo it on the whole, representation thing. I mean, it's good to have your characters as long as that's not the central point or central thing you're doing. That's cool. Chris, give me some insight on the creation of the book. How did you get started? Who is on your team? Oscar, as a reader and writer of articles, I learned how to write a script from experts in the industry. So many inspirations are Scott Snyder, Donnie Cates, Chip Zdarsky, and like, uh oh, oh boy, oh boy. If this guy is taking writing tips from people like Donnie Cates, oh boy. I just truly hope he does not have the same ideological thought process. Hmm. My scripts are detailed, and I love working with the artists, so our voices are represented in the final product. Oh boy. Just the way this guy is talking, it almost sounds like he's got some SJW leanings. I worked with an editor, Devin at Arscott, and four artists from different countries: Terry Suska, Vinicus Carrero, Mary Landro, and Amalas Rosa. There are four. There are four because I wanted different styles to portray the protagonist's mental dispersion as he goes from one thought to another. So does the art style. Hmm. Maybe I think another inspiration sounds like another inspiration. This guy maybe coming from maybe from an don't know if the guy actually ever watched this particular comedy. It wasn't around, I think, more than I think 2 years or so. But I wonder if this guy may have got some ideas from Herman's Head, which was a comedy back in the early like late 80s, early 90s, and the premise was, you as a guy was going throughout his day, going throughout his life, you actually get a look inside his head at four different aspects to his personality. So, anyways, I find them on social media, and each was excited. Social media, and each was excited about the story. The editor and I chose from them, which was a confirmation that we had chosen rightly. I wonder if Chris realized this guy may have some SJW leanings. Hmm. What's your production workflow like? Oscar, I finish the script, send it to the artist, and we discuss the draft until the final page is done. Regarding production, my editor has had successful campaigns, so he manages the printing, packaging, and shipping. We plan on finishing the book 3 months after the crowdfunding campaign. Hmm. Let's see, Chris. Anything about the Zoop campaign you'd like to mention? Zoop. I wonder. That's, I guess, the platform he's using to self-publish. I guess. Oscar. Besides having multiple artists and combining deep personal themes with a fun adventure to create a multi-layered book, rewards will include exclusive traditional items from Peru, as I want to highlight that this book was created by a Peruvian to show my Latino identity as part of the book. So it inspires more creators to do the same. All right, an admirable goal there. I will admit that. Chris, what's been the biggest lesson you've learned from self publishing? Oscar, I've learned that good marketing and networking is vital. Reaching out to people and promoting the book every chance you get is essential, and these skills differ from the ones used to make a comic book. So I've been mixing my previous work skills in this new industry for a new type of client as I'm working for an American audience. His attitude seems to be right there, at least in that statement. Well, maybe this guy isn't as far gone as I was initially led to believe by some of his earlier comments. All right. All right. So, this is your first effort. What are your plans beyond this book? Chris asked. Oscar, this book is my way of introducing myself, and the next step is showing what I'm capable of. So there are many stories to tell, and I've projects lined up for the second half of the year. Good lesson, good luck, or great lesson, good luck, Oscar. All right, so that's from Oscar Sario's um, A Never Ending Adventure, and I guess that's not to be confused with the Never Ending Story. All right, so moving on to the next part of the article here. Titan Mouse of Might by Gary Shipman. Pack-Ins presents Titan Mouse of Might. Chris Bray. Welcome back to ICS, Gary. Tell our readers about your latest comic, Titan Mouse of Might. Gary Shipman. Titan is an extraordinary creature endowed with powers beyond that of any normal mouse. What, like Mighty Mouse, maybe? uh, Titan is from another world where the animals are intelligent. See the Packins Land omnibus, in parentheses there. After triggering an explosion in his world, Titan is transported to the world of man, where this epic story unfolds. The third volume explores the psychological turmoil that plagues Titan. Well, getting blasted to a completely different world where you don't understand the language, and people look at you like you're a monster or something like that because you look so different. That's probably not going to do anybody's psyche any real good. Chris, tell me a bit about the genesis of this project. Gary, um, after the creation of my first comic book series 25 years ago, Packins Land, in parentheses, where a boy gets lost in a magical world with intelligent animals, I thought it would be fun to flip the story and make a story where a character that came from the world of Packins Land um, finds himself in the world of humans. Titan Mouse of Might just does that. Does just that. Here I come to crush a day. Titan Mouse is on his stomp. Just kidding. Let's see now. Let's see if Hmm. All right. So, anyways, getting back to the article here. So, Chris asks, "What sort of comic is the comic that is this comic best suited for, or what sort of comic reader is this comic best suited for?" Gary, in the same vein as Star Wars and the MCU, Titan Mouse of Might is a comic series that is for everyone. Look at the header there. And then, wow, wow, he's got more of a Batman-esque look to him. Uh, Chris, you work very closely with your spouse. Tell me her role in this, and how much of this project is complete. My wonderful wife, Gary responds, my wonderful wife, Rhoda Shipman, is a great help to me on all that I do. She is my editor and a sounding board for my ideas. We've crafted this graphic adventure in a multi-book set. The epic Titan Mouse of Might, Volume 1 and 2, are currently available in 68-page large format 8 by 11 hardcover, presented in classic black and white. Titan Volume 3 is 66%, or what I would say is like about two-thirds done. If you are interested in the creative process, you can watch me draw pages on my Twitch channel. There's some of the artwork right there, yes. Hmm. Chris asks, so there are more stories to tell, I take it? Gary, initially, Titan Mouse was only meant to be 3 volumes, having 3 chapters, issues in each volume. But as I've worked on it, the story has gotten more epic in its scope. I have plans for a 4th volume, and eventually I'd like to do, quote unquote, Worlds Collide, where Titan and the world of Pakinsland come together. Um, that'll have to be something in the future. I also have plans for other stories with other characters from the world of Pakinsland. I have a story with gorillas and primates, even a story with insects. So we'll have to see how all that pans out. Got some of that artwork right there. Hmm. Chris, it looks great, Gary. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our readers before we wrap up? Gary, if someone is a comic lover, an adventure lover, a superhero lover, check out, um, Titan Mouse of Might. Titan is currently being translated into French and is scheduled to be released later this year. Chris, thanks, Gary. Good luck. We're rooting for you. Okay. We're two-thirds of the way through the article here. We're right on time here. Wake up, little Susie, wake up. Uh, 24 minutes, not bad. We're in pretty good time yet, looks like. All right, so on to the next article then. The Vicious Vixens of Dakuwanga by Ben Lacey. That sounds like an interesting book. Vicious Vixens, huh? Ouch. Yeah, probably don't want to mess with these ladies. Chris Braley, welcome back to ICS, Ben. Grammatical error there. Obviously, it's a name, so should be capped there. But anyways, tell me about your latest project. Hit me with the elevator pitch. Ben Lacey, 8 women being trafficked by a criminal cartel, now lost in the middle of the ocean and hunted by their former captors. Their only hope for survival is to become the vicious vixens of Dakuwanga. Oh. Chris, how do you come up with this one? And are there weapon equipped sharks? Okay. Ben, this is a spin off from issue 1 of my series, Shark of War. In that issue, the Shark of War saves a group of women from human traffickers. But he's a shark. He doesn't save people, he just killed their captors, um, and let them defend for themselves in the middle of the ocean. I began to wonder who these women were, what happened to them. Interesting premise there. Interesting way to kind of, kind of, you know, branch something off. They have to unite despite their very different backgrounds and personalities to keep one step ahead of the criminal cartel that very much wants them back. I want to add that you don't have to read Shark of War, in parentheses here, though everyone who backs will get a free digital copy of that book as well, unparenthesed, to follow this story. Yikes. Ooh, that blood splatter doesn't look too good. Yes. What kind of reader is this aimed at? This is for fans of classic Charlie's Angels, the A Team, the Expendables, and 70s grindhouse movies like Faster, Pussycat, Kill Kill. So basically, it's probably more of a book for adults than anything else, is what I would gather. Uh, Chris, let's go into the production side of things. Tell me about your approach to comics. Ben, I try to make new and unique spins on genre action stories. This book, like my other books, is it combined. Okay, you put is in there, but I don't know if that was really necessary. Combines action, humor, and high stakes adventure. I've been writing sci-fi, fantasy, and historical fiction for a number of years, and use that to inform my comic book stories to hopefully give a really fun reading experience. For this book, I wrote the script. Nico Toran um, did the art based on concept designs by Eduardo Guzman. Nikki Powers did the lettering. David Bath uh, Gallert did one of the variant covers, while Nico Toran did both the base cover and a set of 4, in smaller quote, duet covers pairing off each of the 8, virgin vixen. Hmm. The vicious victims, the muscle. You won't be done. You won't be doing that when we overpower a guy. Do you roll your eyes when some tiny girl overpowers a guy twice her size? Ooh, that's quite a quite a teaser there. I just went over, huh? Uh, we got another. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying the content. If you haven't already, if you can help out by liking and sharing the stream and seeing if we can get some more friendly people in here. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, let's see. And how much of that? Oh, what is your, Chris asked, what is your production workflow like? Ben, I provide the script to Nico and have him work on it 4 pages at a time. He first sends me thumbnails for comment, then pencils, inks, and finally does finished art. Once we have 8 pages we're happy with, I have it lettered and assembled it into an ash can to promote it. In parentheses, there's a link to download the ash can for free on the Kickstarter page. Unquote. End parentheses. I then pitch cover concepts to Nico and have him draw up variants based on the ones we both like. On this campaign, the script is complete and half the art is complete. I expect to deliver well ahead of schedule. That sounds like you're working pretty fast there. Next one of you that makes a sound gets the butt of my gun upside her head. Whoa. Chris, this isn't your first rodeo, Ben. Tell me what you've learned about crowdfunding comics. Ben, you have to build an audience slowly and patiently. There are a lot of projects and entertainment options out there competing for attention, and no matter how good you think your project is, you'll have to work meticulously on social media, at cons, and through building an email list to gain fans. Yeah, I'm kind of caught up in these in this little thing here. Ah, it's just rare for me. I usually stay focused, but sometimes when something really catches your attention, in this case, 8 women on a boat, it definitely catches my attention. You know, so, um, Chris, are there more stories to tell in this universe? Ben. Oh yes, the Vixen story will definitely continue, as will Shark of War. I plan to have issue 7 of Shark of War out soon. After this, then more Vixens. I will be doing my first superhero comic book later this summer, Samson. So here's somebody else who's doing a Samson comic. I don't know if you guys remember, but a few weeks ago we were introduced to Fox Feature Syndicate's version of Samson. So the Nazis were trying to make a super soldier. Instead, they created their greatest enemy. Let's see, Chris. Before we sign off for this week's edition, what would you like to leave our readers with? And then Ben answers, backing this book isn't just getting you one book. but is also helping the creation of a larger comic book universe. I've now done 8 comic books, and I'm continuing to create at a steady pace. I think people will back me. People back me will be able to enjoy these storylines for a long time to come. All right, that's it for this installment. If you're a creator ramping up your own campaign or have a comic available for purchase online and you want to be featured in our weekly column, click here. And follow Indie Comic Showcase on Twitter at Indie Comics and reach out to them for more eyes on your crowdfunding comic project. Until next time, support Indie Comics. And of course, don't forget, folks, I also, cover the articles here. So, on a pretty regular basis when they come out. So, I'll let you know too what's going down and give my spin on things. Anyways. Alrighty then. So there we go with that. Let's see. We're up getting close to 36 minutes now. So we're just past 36, coming up on 37 minutes, I think. So yeah, that one took us quite a bit of the time there. So I guess we'll move on to the wrestling wrap up here. And we will we'll talk about what's going down tonight. All right, so first off, some news on the WWE front. So looks like there are those in the upper echelons of WWE who are trying to quote unquote Vince proof, the creative direction of Raw and SmackDown. There have been people who've had some issues about Vince's involvement in creative. We talked yesterday about how Triple H has, been a little bit irritable, wanting possibly Vince to get it, especially considering that after the whole fiasco from the late last year, where he was forced to step down temporarily, Vince came back and now it's been having more and more to say. Now the way they seem to be trying to Vince proof is by announcing and promoting the matches weeks in advance. So then that way, Vince was less likely to try to make any changes or try to have any major push influence. Just so because if he makes all these changes, and they've announced something or promoted something, then then it makes them look like a bunch of liars. And of course, this Saturday is Money in the Bank. Got the 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches going on right now. It looks like in the men's ladder match, it looks like the higher ups at WWE would like to see Logan Paul win, while the fans want to see LA Knight win. LA Knight's been becoming more and more a favorite among fans. Would be highly disappointed if he does not win it. On the women's side, it looks like people are pushing for Io Sky to win the and to further kind of the break between within Damage Control. Among some of the other matches set for Money in the Bank this Saturday include, of course, Seth Rollins defending the WWE World Heavyweight title against Finn Balor, Cody taking on Dominic Mysterio of Judgment Day. Those at least look to be some of the main matches to look forward to. Plus, there's been talk that some people might, looks like there's a possibility that Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, and or Bray Wyatt might all possibly be making their returns, but it's kind of 50-50 among, think of the three, Randy Orton's probably the most likely to make his return at Money in the Bank. Um, so so that's all the WWE news that we have for you. Moving on to some AEW news, and before we go over what's going to happen on tonight's Dynamite. Um, so one of the news items that came out from Forbidden Door this past weekend was that Brian Danielson broke his arm during his match with the kid. Now he still wrestled 10 after the break happened. He still wrestled for another 10 minutes to finish the match. Now, while while many fans and many pundits would argue that it shows how tough he is, which is probably true, his wife Brie Bella not too keen on it. Not too keen on the idea of her husband like wrestling 10 minutes with a broken arm there. So and it looked like a pretty clean break. So and Brian, of course, 42 years old in wrestling terms, that is pretty old. But Danielson, um, and some guys have wrestled well into their 60s. I'm not, Chris Jericho himself is 50, I think 51, 52. So, Sting is, I think he's 59, 60. He may even be, see, he was born in 1959, so he's like 63, 64. So, but anyways, but he's on his way to retiring too. But anyways, so, and Sting has been indicating for a while now that Showtime, as he puts it, is almost over. So, now tonight, of course, on tonight's, and I will go over the results tomorrow, of course. So on tonight's episode of Dynamite, Tomohiro Ishii is taking on Jon Moxley in a six-man tag match. AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy teams with Limitless Keith Lee and El Hijo del Vikingo take on the Jericho Appreciation Society members of Angelo Parker, Matt Menard, and Daniel Garcia. The Elite take the Elite members Adam Page and Hangman Adam Page and Young Bucks Matt and Nick Jackson will be taking on Dark Order members of Evil Uno, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver. That's going to be an interesting one because of Adam Page's, former association with the Dark Order. That's going to be an interesting match. Ruby So will be taking on Alexa Nicole. Wonder what happened there because supposedly now maybe this because Britt is but originally that was supposed to be Ruby Soho against Dr. Britt Baker for in the final quarterfinal match of the tournament in the females bracket of the Owen Hart tournament. Now maybe since Adam Cole came in sick the other night, maybe they decided to push this match back, to make sure that Britt's not infected as well. That's just my speculation. And in the main event, of course, in the Tornado Tag match, Darby Allin and Sting take on the Jericho Appreciation Society of Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Now, of course, we'll probably have more info on that story for you tomorrow. We do the wrap up tomorrow. So, anyways, with that, we'll probably get ready here to get ready to All right. So with that, now today is Wednesday, June 28th, 2023. Why don't we go ahead and take a look back at this day in each history? History! All right. So first off, we're going to head back 75 years ago. As on this date, 75 years ago, 25 years ago today, the 20th issue of Wilbur Comics from Archie Comics went on sale on this date. Um, you know, on this date back in 1948. 75 years ago today, the 20th issue of Wilbur Comics from Archie Comics went on sale on this date. The bi-monthly book sold for 10 cents and was 48 pages. So there you go with that one. We'll go with that one. Anyways, getting ready to move on to the next piece of niche history here. We move ahead to 2008. Oh, I'm sorry, that was the wrong thing there. 2008, not 2013. Hold on. All right, here we go. All right, there we go. On this date in 2008 here, um, the final episode of Synergy SP's Major S4, rather, and A1 Pictures Persona Trinity Soul both aired in Japan on this date 15 years ago today, back in 2008. So on this date back in 2008, Synergy SP's Major S4 and A1 Pictures Persona Trinity Soul both aired their final episodes on this date back in 2008. Also on this date, on this date 10 years ago today, a couple things here. First off, on this date 10 years ago today, um, Matt Bourne, who most of you would remember as the first and most used and the longest, well, here, better read it this way. Longest running wrestler to portray the gimmick of Doink Clown. So on this date, 10 years ago today, Matt Bourne passed away at the age of 55 from what was believed a combination of an accidental drug overdose and heart condition. For those of you who may not remember Matt Bourne was probably most famous as the first and longest recurring wrestler to portray the character of Doink in the WWE. He also was Big Josh in WCW in 92 and 93, or 91, 92 rather. Of course, he's a second generation wrestler, was the son of Pacific Northwest wrestling star Tough Tony Bourne. Of course, Matt got his start there as well. Formed a couple of interesting tag teams in the early to mid 80s. In 82, he teamed with Arn Anderson for a bit of a run in Georgia Championship Wrestling. Then moved on, came to the WWE. He was actually involved in the first WrestleMania, battling Ricky Steamboat in a match at, I believe, the first or second WrestleMania. Also, he was in World Class, where he teamed with the late Buzz Sawyer to win the World Class World Tag Team Championships. And as I mentioned, of course, was the first and longest recurring wrestler to portray Doink. He, of course, made a return to the WWE. It was fired in late '93 due to due to some repeated drug violations, but made his return to WWE to portray Doink back in 2007. So on this date, 2013, 10 years ago today, Matt Bourne, a.k.a. Doink the Clown, a.k.a. Big Josh, passed away at the age of 55. And 2013 is just so nice that we're going to hit it twice. As also on this date back in 2013, Disney Channel premiered, through Disney Television Animation, premiered Mickey Mouse, also known as Mickey Mouse Shorts, which was it was an American animated comedy television series. It's basically an updated version of the classic shorts that they did. It's kind of like what they're doing with Looney Tunes now, right? Kind of an updated set of shorts for modern times that was done 10 years ago. So 10 years ago today, the premiere of Mickey Mouse from Disney, which is an updated. So with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight. I hope you all enjoyed the show. We'll be back here tomorrow with more news. I'll, of course, get y'all caught up on what happened on Dynamite. Have more information on, I guess, what happened with the tournament match that was supposed to go down. Also, more more niche news. And don't forget, this Friday, Tim Olson will be joining me. We'll be looking at comics that went on sale in November 1939. This week, focusing in on comics that went on sale from Timely Comics, which we now know, of course, as Marvel Comics. So until tomorrow, bye.